Hey, what's up, G-Stars? Welcome back to Obas Trending Gist, where we break down the stories behind the headlines. Today, we have something really fascinating. We are looking at a clip from Arise News that's got everyone talking. It features a man who is famously one of the government's most vocal and consistent critic, human rights lawyer Deji Adeyanju. But here's the twist. In this clip, he's not criticizing, he is actually praising the president and the new leadership at the DSS. So, what has changed? Has the leopard changed its spots? We are going to break down exactly what he said, why it is so significant, and then I'm going to give you my own critical take on what this really means for human rights and accountability in Nigeria. So sit back and take a watch.
Yes, people who have relatives in custody must come forward. Do you understand? Because if people have been denied, detained for long periods, and nobody knows about them, it's people that come to our office and make these complaints, and this is the reason why we go and we push and we advocate and we plead, and we make an appeal. Even today, a letter of appeal has been written to the DG, you understand, on a husband and wife that have been in custody, I think since 2021 or 22 thereabout. So the process is continuous. So the people must have faith and confidence that, the right thing is now being done, and that there's a transition, there's an attempt at hygiene at the DSS. And people more critical stakeholders like lawyers, human rights defenders, development partners like the United States, the UK, and others must also partner to create the enabling environment to ensure that the attempt at hygiene is holistic. If certain things were done in the past wrongly, and now corrections are being made by this new leadership, then they deserve the support, institutional support. I also believe that on this particular one, the president got it right. I'm not someone that praises the government at all, but on this particular appointment of the DG, I think the president has really gotten it well, and the president must be commended for this appointment. For instance, the case I cited on the Just one and our client that was just released, the businessman from Kaduna, if we had said, we had successfully secured his release, and we had now said, we want to fight with the DSS, we are going to court, we are going to sue them for fundamental rights and this, it takes time. And even if we win and we get compensation for damages, in line, you will still be faced with the hurdle of the provision of the Sheriff and Civil Processes Act, Section 84, Sub 1 to 3, that says that even when we have gotten judgment, we must get the consent of the Attorney General of the Federation. Consent that is almost practically very hard, or almost near impossible to get. So it will take years before we cross that hurdle. Now, the DG has said, after the advocacy and appeals of these people, I have seen that we were wrong. We have admitted that we are wrong. We must do the right thing. We must compensate the victim. So the victim has been compensated, and also the case in Jos, something that was done since 2016. The judgment was given in 2016. It was never complied with. Now it has been complied with. Other people, other development partners, lawyers, human rights defenders, people that have such cases should come forward, and let's see how. Most likely, the appeal should be made for the service to help in complying with some of these judgments, and so that justice is seen to be.
All right, you've seen it for yourself, so let's get straight into it. The most stunning takeaway from that entire segment is hearing Deji Adeyanju, a man who has been arrested, tear-gassed, and has consistently sued the government, says, and I quote, "The president got it right and must be commended for this appointment." Now, why is this a massive deal? This isn't just empty praise. When a professional critic, someone whose credibility is built on holding power to account, give a nod of approval, it carries a different kind of weight. It suggests that something tangible, something real has shifted. Let's break down Deji's argument. He isn't just praising for the sake of it, he is being very strategic. He pointed to two concrete examples. First, the compensation paid to a victim of a shooting from 2016, a case that had dragged on for nearly a decade. Second, the release of a businessman from Kaduna who had been in detention. These are verifiable actions. What Deji is doing here is masterful. He's shifting his strategy from one of pure confrontation to one of strategic engagement. He understands that constantly suing the DSS, while necessary, is a long and frustrating process, especially with legal hurdles like Section 84 of the Sheriff and Civil Process Act, which he mentioned, that makes it nearly impossible to get court-ordered payments from the government. So, he sees an open door with the new DSS DG. He sees a leadership that is willing to listen and correct past mistakes. Instead of just hitting them with a stick, he is offering a carrot. He is essentially saying to the new leadership, you are doing the right thing, and for that, we will acknowledge it and work with you. Keep this up. However, if you go back to the old ways of impunity, we will return to the trenches and fight you. So, his praise for the president isn't about becoming a supporter of the administration in general. It's a calculated, targeted commendation for a specific appointment that is yielding positive results. It is a signal to the entire human rights community that there might be a new, more effective avenue to get justice for victims of state security overreach. Now, beyond analyzing what Deji said, let me give you my own take on the bigger picture here. First, cautious optimism is the key word. While this is fantastic news, we must be very careful. A very good actions do not erase a long-standing institutional culture of impunity. The DSS as an institution has a dark and well-documented history. This new hygiene, as Deji called it, it needs to be deep, sustained, and baked into the DNA of the service. It cannot and should not be dependent on the goodwill of just one Director General. What happens when he leaves? Does the system revert to default? That's a million naira question. Secondly, this highlights the immense power of appointments. This is a lesson in governance. Who you put in charge of critical institutions matters immensely. The president appointing a professional who is willing to reform an institution from within can have a more significant impact than years of external pressure. It shows that leadership is everything. The tone set at the top determines the music the rest of the organization dances to. Third, and this is crucial, the systematic problems remains. Deji brilliantly pointed out Section 84 of the Sheriff and Civil Process Act. This law is one of the biggest obstacles of justice in Nigeria. It basically says that even when a court orders the government to pay you compensation, you still have to get the permission from the Attorney General, the government's own chief lawyer, to collect that money. It's like a thief being found guilty, but you need his permission to get your stolen goods back. It's absurd. While this new DG might be bypassing this by willingly paying, the law itself is still active. That is a problem for the National Assembly to fix. A good man cannot reform a bad law. The law itself must be changed. And finally, my fourth point, accountability must be two-folded. Paying compensation to a victim is one part of justice. It is the restorative part. But what about punitive part? What about the officers who illegally shot that man in 2016 or detained a Kaduna businessman without trial? Were they ever disciplined? Were they demoted, sacked, or prosecuted? For true hygiene to occur, you can't just clean up the mess, you have to stop the people making the mess. The system needs strong, transparent internal disciplinary mechanism to weed out and punish rogue officers. Until that happens, the cycle of abuse will continue. So my final thought is this. This is a welcome and positive development. Deji Adeyanju is right to commend it and to use it as an opening for dialogue. But we, the citizen and the media, must keep our eyes on the ball. We need to push for sustained institutional reform, demand legislative changes to remove those systematic roadblocks and insist on accountability for individual officers. This is a good first step, but the marathon for a truly rights-respecting security service is far from over. But what do you guys think? Is this a genuine new dawn for the DSS or a temporary PR move to cool things down? Do you agree with Deji Adeyanju's strategic shift from confrontation to engagement? Drop your thoughts and opinion in the comment section below. I'd love to read them. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your network, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button for more of Oba's trending gists. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.